Welcome back to Dealing with the Devils. I'm Jack and we got JD here, and we are talking after the first win over Elon. That was exciting. A lot more players played than we anticipated. And just to recap here, based on our first video, our preview, I believe, and I had some technical difficulties in the second half, but I am pretty confident Coach K did not take off his jacket. JD, you are correct.
I got that one right. I did get that one right, but boy, did you score heavily on your predictions tonight.
I did, yes. Thank you for bringing it up first. That way it doesn't sound like I'm just, tooting my own horn here, but I did. You nailed the score prediction, but besides that, I think I was hitting most of my points across the board there.
From 3-point range, you were burying it like Grayson.
Like Grayson, and speaking of Grayson, they went right to his tripping incident and talked about that.
How many minutes did you say? How many minutes?
I said within the first 2.
All right. It was the 11-minute mark, but it was really cool.
All right. So I was a little bit off there. I gotta say, I don't think I could give myself credit for that one. I gotta take that one back. But I will say they skirted around it in the beginning when they were talking about his ability to lead the team, and can he do that this season. I think they were alluding to it, but they didn't want to say it outright. They had to warm themselves up, and I think it helped that Grayson started off hot, as I predicted he would in the game, and really take the reins and take the pressure off the freshman, as he did so well in this game against Elon.
Well, and I think one of the great moments there was obviously who saw it coming, but your boy, Javin DeLaurier.
Yeah.
Big night.
Yeah, huge night for Javin DeLaurier. And what's interesting to me is you heard a lot of buzz from the NBA guys after they came and saw the Blue Devils scrimmage, and they really liked Bagley. There were concerns about Duval, but the guy that they were very high on, who they liked a lot, was Javin DeLaurier. And for many of the reasons he showcased tonight, he impacts the game without needing to score the ball. And when you have a guy like that on your team, it just makes everyone else that much better. And if he's going to play anywhere near the level he played tonight throughout the season, the Blue Devils are going to have a great player on their hands off the bench for sure. Okay, so let's move into now some of the other areas of prediction here. So First off, how many players we expected to see playing time? We both, I believe you said 8. Is that correct?
That's correct. But
And
I was completely wrong.
And I had 10, so I was off by 1, 2, 2 guys. Off by 2 guys. They ended up with 12 guys coming into this game. It did help, though, that you were closer on the score in terms of the number of players who entered the game. And also, foul trouble definitely dictated some of that. But, it's interesting when you look at the minute distribution. You see Jack White only played 7 minutes, but he played in the first half. So, that does matter a little bit in terms of when the game was at least closer. But yeah, your guy Jack White there doesn't seem to be in the rotation for the season.
He tried a couple of threes and he was off, and that was about it for Jack. But that's okay. Big body, and it was good to see that Coach K said, you know what, I'm going to use everybody because he's going to need it tomorrow night. When whoever's playing Kentucky,
Utah Valley here.
Fits.
Utah Valley. But let's go into the freshmen, because I know you didn't get a great chance to see them in the exhibition games, and I think it's important that we talk about them individually. So give me your thoughts on Wendell Carter Jr. What did you think about him in the first game here against Elon?
Beautiful three-point shooter. Just beautiful on the arc. He's got...
Wait. That's Gary Trent. Nice try, JD. Nice try. We're talking about the other junior here. Wendell Carter Jr. Do you know who that is? He's on Duke.
I do, but he didn't really have... I don't have him for really a lot of minutes tonight. How many minutes did he have?
Well, that's the thing. He got into foul trouble early, and he really limited himself from making an impact in this game. Also, the fact that the Blue Devils ended up being putting this game away so early meant that he wasn't going to play much in the second half after, coming back from the foul trouble. But in limited time, 16 minutes, he still shot 4 of 6. He had 6 rebounds. He had 8 points. He blocked 2 shots. So he's still able to make an impact, but his own foul trouble limited him. And the other thing I want to note before we get back to these other freshmen here is you guys know Coach K is not going to be pleased with the fact that how great the defense looked in that first half, only giving up 25 points, with the way they played in the second half, giving up 43 points. And that was much more of what I thought Elon would play like in the first half, or the second half, excuse me. I thought they'd come out with that, being that they're a veteran team, but they didn't. But Coach K is not going to be pleased with the effort in the second half. We seem to have lost JD here on Skype, so I'll just finish out the rest of this review here on the Elon game myself, and then give a little bit of a preview for tomorrow night's game against Utah Valley. Now, as JD was about to talk about, he thinks that Marvin Bagley should have reclassified straight to the NBA, and based on his performance tonight, it's hard to argue with him. 25 points, 10 rebounds, and just looked dominant out there on the court. Gary Trent Jr., as he incorrectly started talking about there when he was supposed to be talking about Wendell, really looked good tonight, and I expected that just based on the way he played in the exhibition games. He had 17.6 rebounds, and he really shot the 3-ball well, and he's been a much better 3-point shooter than I initially thought. And really, that's going to be a major key for the Blue Devils if he can continue to shoot the ball as well as he has early on this season, to complement the shooting of Grayson Allen. And lastly, I wanted to mention, Alex O'Connell, I think, has a chance to really force his way into minutes. I don't think that Coach K was planning on playing O'Connell a lot this season, especially after the commitment of Marvin Bagley. However, I think O'Connell, with his 3-point shooting, but the other thing I liked is his positioning on defense, his ability to rebound the ball, and with those two things along with his size, I think he's going to force his way into minutes off the bench along with Jordan Goldwire, and those two freshman guards are going to play, maybe 10 to 12 minutes a night, and give the Blue Devils good depth off the bench, and I see that being something to keep an eye on throughout the season. I really liked their defense in the first half overall. The Blue Devils played with they were much more poised than a young team usually is, and they were on point with their rotations and contesting really every shot. And I was overall, I thought it was a really good performance by Duke in the first game at home against the veteran Elon team. Who, could have come out and given them some trouble, but they really took care of business right away, and led by the spark that the senior Grayson Allen gave them. Good leadership by the captain, Mr. Allen. Now, previewing a little bit here into this Utah Valley game tomorrow night. Obviously, they are giving Kentucky some issues tonight, and they therefore really shouldn't be taken lightly, and if you were going to, then this should be the wake-up call that maybe you shouldn't, because Kentucky did pull away in the second half of this game, but to be up at halftime, I think it definitely shows that Utah Valley's a team to just definitely be respected, and a team that could be back later on as a mid-major in the tournament, just based on this early season performance. And I'm not going to say I know a ton about this team, but they had a guy in Manyang who, as a senior here, as a 7-footer, put up 6 blocks against Kentucky. And I know this is a young Kentucky team and all, and offensively it usually takes them longer than it does on defense, but still that's an impressive performance by the senior there for Utah Valley, and it kept them limited with only 25 points, his ability to patrol the paint. So that's something to watch against the size of the Blue Devils, how they'll match up with Manyang there of Utah Valley. But that's it, guys. Really solid performance by the Blue Devils. Really want to see what you guys thought about this game. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll be sure to let you know what I think about that. That's it. This was Dealing with the Devils. We're out. Peace.